Hi, this is Tony with StuffSeniorsNeed.com, and I am coming to you today with an extremely important video for anyone who is a caregiver, and that is sooner or later you're going to have to be applying for Medicaid. And I am going to take you through the process, not just giving you pretty much standard government statistics, but I went through this myself, so I'm going to be telling you my own personal perspective, my own experiences. I am going to be explaining to you, giving you tips, the things that I wish I had done, not only during the process, but the things I had wished I had done before the process started. So I'm going to be taking you through that, and I really hope that this helps some people out there. First of all, though, I want to explain to you what exactly Medicaid is. And Medicaid, it is a joint program which is administered by both the U.S. government and the state government, and it's designed to provide a social safety net for the poor. The big problem that we will be dealing with is getting the approval from the government for someone to actually be approved for Medicaid. And like I said, as I go through this process, I'm going to be explaining from a personal perspective. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get a hold of an application. Now, you can either do that through the Department of Social Services, or you can go to the social worker suite at the hospital. That's actually what I did. After my mother's heart attack, and I realized that her medical needs were beyond the capacity of my brother and I to take care of her, we needed to get her somewhere where she could be protected, and that was in a nursing home. So in addition to looking for a quality nursing home, we needed to get her onto Medicaid. When I looked at the application, simply put, what the government is going to want, they do a 5-year look-back period. And they are going to ask for every conceivable piece of information regarding a person's financial past. I understand why the government does this. Okay, they don't want a case where millionaires are hiding money with their children and then they wind up paying the bill for the nursing home. But still, it is a daunting task, and you can see that is the actual pile of paperwork that was needed. And there's no copies of copies in there, by the way. That is actually just mom's basic paperwork that is needed. So get ready for the disruptions in your life, okay? Like I said, this is going to be explained with a lot of personal experiences. One thing to understand is that because Medicaid is also administered on the state level, as I'm going through the information required in your area may be a little different, okay? But I'm pretty sure that the list that I go through is going to be very similar to the one that you're going to be experiencing yourself. One thing I really would like to stress: I wish I had gotten some of this information before the heart attack. And I cannot stress enough that if you think you're going to be in a position where you are going to be having to apply, especially for a loved one at some point in the future, you really need to start now to get that paperwork together. You need to make sure that the power of attorney is in place. You need to make sure the healthcare proxy is in place, because to have to do that after the fact is a major, major issue. And all this is going to do is provide peace of mind for you. So I cannot stress that enough. So here are some of the eligibility requirements. First of all, I needed to get my mother's Social Security card. Now, I had her award letter from Social Security, how much money she was getting. That was okay. You need a marriage certificate, separation papers, the divorce decree, or the spouse's death certificate. You need to get either proof of U.S. citizenship or a registered alien card. And then also a birth certificate. You can see in this instance, I had to order my mother's online. However, I knew she was born in New York City. That was it. All I did was do a Google search, how to get a birth certificate in New York City, and it was actually a pretty simple process. It cost me $15 to do it, but that's how I was able to get her birth certificate. Next, if you're living in a home, you need to have a copy of the deed to show that you own the house, the mortgage statement, property tax bills, homeowners insurance, In our instance, my mother was renting, so I got a copy of the lease from the landlord, as well as letters of, credit, how long she had been paying, things of that case. And it actually helped because the landlord was my brother in this instance, but that's how you would handle that process. Documentation of any loans due. If she was getting any type of child support or alimony, any paid or unpaid bills over the last 3 months, medical bills. Now, Medicaid will not pick you up for coverage if you don't have any unpaid medical bills. So you actually have to start to incur medical bills for Medicaid to pick you up. And don't worry about that, because if someone you love has a major medical issue, like my mother did, there's going to be plenty of bills. So while she didn't before this happened, there was tens of thousands of dollars of bills from the hospitals. So that wasn't a problem for us. Next, health insurance cards. Documentation of how much she was paying for her health care. And you'll also need, if you were in the military, a copy of your DD-214 discharge paperwork. Now, assets. This was the amazing part, because even though my mother was pretty much broke, I had to make a 5-year look back on her bank accounts, any type of retirement statements. She had next to nothing saved for retirement. But the big thing was the bank statements, and I'm going to walk you through that process now because this is really important. The Medicaid requires a 5-year look-back period, as I said. That means you have to get bank records for the past 60 months. Now, if there is any deposit that goes into her bank account that wasn't a standard check or it wasn't alimony, we had to get a statement from the bank stating, just getting a clarification of that. So as I'm sitting here going through all of these with the social worker, she was asking me stuff like, as I put here, your mother made a $237 deposit on March 9th of 2008. Where did that money come from? How the hell am I supposed to know that? And it really gets frustrating. Now, what's going to happen is, the only good part of this process is that when Medicaid does this look back, if there is a statement from the bank, just the standard, receipt of the deposit, that's okay if it went in as cash. And I have to say thank God for that, because if I had to explain these, nothing would have ever happened. I also just want to give, quite frankly, a shout out to Chase Bank. I know that these days we're all supposed to hate the banks, but Chase treated me like gold through this entire process. The bank normally they charge a $6 a month fee in bank statements. So it would have cost us $300, actually $360, to look back the 5 years to get all these bank statements. But when this is requested as part of a Medicaid application, they actually waive the fee. So I got 5 years of bank statements for nothing. And in addition to that, on several instances, they went above and beyond for me in terms of getting me any information I needed to clarify all of these deposits that weren't a part of Mom's bank account. So they really helped me out a lot. I can't thank them enough. Continuing with the assets that are going to be needed, all savings and retirement information, any life insurance policies that are there. You also have to give any information regarding any pending lawsuits. If you own a vehicle, pay stubs, award letters for Social Security, copy of the tax returns for the last 5 years, you can order those through the IRS. Now, I got this entire package and I sent it off to Medicaid. And I thought that I had done a really good job of getting every single piece of information that they asked for. And here's the thing. Get ready to be infuriated, okay? Because what happens is I got a letter from the government that basically said I had 2 days to send them a complete reclarification on all the information, or they were going to reject the application and start over. Now, the really infuriating part about this was that most of the information was already sent to them. It's just that some government bureaucrat couldn't read it right. I'll give you an example. I sent a statement my mother had a term life insurance policy. Now, term life insurance policies don't have any cash value. They wanted a letter from the insurance company stating that the life insurance policy didn't have any cash value. So, things like that, when you have gone through the months of putting this information together, really get frustrating. And it actually involves me taking 2 days off from work to put all this together. So, in terms of their reclarification of information. So, definitely get ready for the disruptions in your life that are coming. And right here you can see how I'm describing how they sent me that letter dated on April 6th. I got the letter on the 11th, and if I didn't have the information on the 16th, it all started over. But fortunately, I was able to move mountains for the government and get them the information they wanted in those 2 days. Now, the last thing I could say is get ready for those disruptions in your life, because you need to be as thorough as possible, but you will again be dealing with a government bureaucrat. And ultimately, the government will approve the application. They are getting better. It's now taking about 5 to 6 months to approve Medicaid, which may sound awful, but believe it or not, that's actually pretty good. It had been a case of where it was taking from 9 months to a year. So I hope this helps some people out there who are either going through the process or about to go through the process of what I went through, just so you could profit from my experience. And once again, if I could give you one piece of advice, if you see that sooner or later you may need to do something like this for a loved one, start now. Okay, I profited from my mistakes. Okay, everything I need, if this, God forbid, something happens with my father, everything is in one briefcase that I need. I have 5 years of everything already compiled. I need to pick up the briefcase and I'm done. And I would definitely recommend for you that you do the same. So I hope this helped. Once again, this is Tony with Stuff Seniors Need, and I will see you next time. Take care.